Welcome to the episode 3 of Beyond Technology and Innovation. It's been a long break, which I had to take from the episode 2 for various reasons related to my startup and travel and things like that. I wish to do this more frequently now. So, in this episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with Sourabh Kumar, who is the founder of Ecopath. I've known Sourabh for almost 4 years now, since 2020, where we were part of the same accelerator program. He's a great founder. He had his previous startup called Potholeraja. They're into they're really focused on fixing roads in India. His previous startup was fixing potholes. That's what the name Pothole Raja came from. And they use sustainable material to create roads. And his new startups also takes that vision further and is creating sustainable roads using waste material, which is generated from construction activities, and converting that material into roads. So a very noble cause for a country like India. What I've learned from Saurabh along the way that is it's empathy and being down to earth is so important. And he's a great speaker, shows a lot of confidence. So I've learned a lot along the way with from him. So let's see what he has to say about his new startup. Hello, everyone. I have a very special guest today on the my podcast. His name is Sourabh Kumar, and he is the founder and CEO of Ecopath. So, hi, Saurabh. Welcome to the show.
Hi Rohin, thank you so much.
It's great to chat with you. We met, I think, first at an Brigade Accelerator program. That was about 2020, I think, right after COVID. We were still recovering, and I think
Yeah.
that's when we met. So since then, I've seen your journey. I think we have had different paths, but I remember you coming on the Shark Tank, so that was something very exciting. So I'd love to learn about that. But before that, why don't you just give a quick introduction to yourself and your company?
So I come from a town which has become very famous because of a cricketer called MS Dhoni. So my native
Ranchi.
is Ranchi, and yeah, so my journey started from there. My schooling and all went over there, and then I moved to Kota to study, prepare for my JEE and Triple E exams. After that, did my engineering from Bangalore and started as a software developer initially, like everybody does when they are in Bangalore. और उसके बाद I think I worked there for 3 years, and then I had this bug of studying abroad. Basically, entrepreneurship was not on my immediate job profile. It just happened. So I actually started preparing for GMAT, and then while I was preparing for GMAT, I realized that people across the world look for leaders who have empathy, and that made me think, yeah, what I have done in my life, that let's say a college like Harvard, Stanford, or anybody top Ivy League colleges will select me as their one of their candidates who would want to study there. This is how the initial phase started, and then I my first startup that I did, and currently Ecopath.
So did you study abroad?
No, no, no. So one thing that happened is, you know, while I was running my first startup, Potholeraja, I think I realized that most of the things that I would have otherwise studied, and while going for a formal education, I've been practicing over there. Not saying that it's not important, it is, but I think the path that I chose taught me a lot in that journey. And meanwhile, then I happened to do my MBA from SP Jain Mumbai while I was running the company. So yeah, थोड़ा एजुकेशन तो वहाँ से मिल गया.
So what does Ecopath do?
So basically, I mean, this is just the problem that I identified in the industry while I was running my first company. That in the real estate sector, the private real estate sector, sustainability is something that is being talked about a lot. That how do we make our built environment sustainable? How do we reduce our carbon footprint, operation wise, then building material wise. Now, this is where I saw that there are n number of conferences that are happening. People are very excited that in those conferences that yes, we will do something wherein our carbon footprint is less. But when you come to the actual work environment, right, all you will see are small little pilots and couple of press releases, and that's the end of the story. And this is what where I thought, and if when I used to ask my clients as well, and understanding from their perspective too, one of the most common answer is anything which is sustainable or made from, let's say, recycled material is always expensive, which is the reality as well. And this is where the adoption is less. And my intent, I mean, I've always been a roads person. So I think the kick that I get is when I construct beautiful roads and stronger roads, basically. And this is where I thought that there is a massive opportunity that if you can help the real estate fraternity construct roads first, which are costing lesser than whatever they are spending right now, they'll be interested. And then you talk about the sustainable aspect in that. So what I have done is I've blended the design and the material in Ecopath. And this is where we are first able to reduce the cost of construction, and then we are also able to reduce the carbon footprint. So what I always say is, because my intention is very pure, that yes, when I do construction, my carbon footprint is definitely going to be lesser than any traditional approach. But for my company to do more, I have to construct more roads. And for me to construct more roads, I have to make it cost effective. So that's the entire objective in that. That how do we
So,
bring in more eco-friendly solutions? Like for example, I'll just tell you that we do a blend of roughly around 20% as of now in the concrete that we make, which is CND waste. So CND waste are converted into aggregates, which
what is
look and
CND?
feel.
I'm not familiar with this phrase.
Oh, all right. So CND is construction and demolition. So when buildings are getting demolished, any structure which is concrete element in that, when that gets demolished, then the waste usually used to go to landfills. Now the government have a lot of regulation. Companies have also come up, so they go to a facility and they get recycled. So what they do is they break that into and they form similar, stones, aggregate, and the powdered form, which otherwise we call, let's say, replicate the property of river sand or M sand. So that goes as a blend. So my intention is that we will blend it without compromising on the quality and the strength, and you will get the result which is more carbon efficient. Right?
Okay.
So that's how I'm catering to the industry, real estate industry.
And these roads which you're constructing, are these internal roads within communities, or are these can these be also like public roads?
So it can be public roads as well. I'm not at all saying this cannot be. Uh, just that I have, as of now, I have kept my target audience very, very clear that I'll work with, private residential builders. Now over there, the kind of development that we are seeing is 100-acre township, 300-acre property. So in that, the number of road network also is massive, right? So it'll actually go from that direction. But another target audience that I have is our airports, the ports that we have, which are currently now getting lot privatized. Like big players are there in the country which are doing phenomenal work. Like GMR is there, who has done phenomenal work in airports. Then Adanis are there. So these companies also are very big players. The ports are getting built in the country, and not just India. I mean, the plan is that once we start from here, I want to take this to across the world with the formulations that we are building.
So, what was happening to this CND waste before? Like, what is usually done?
I mean, earlier it just used to go to landfills. That's all, Rohin. I mean, nothing much.
Okay.
Now the governments have become very, like they're particular that we don't want to just send it to a landfill because it's getting unmanageable, and waste
Yeah,
can
I
be
know in
treated.
India I've seen that a lot of builders when they demolish, they actually will go and sometimes dump it somewhere,
Yeah.
because there is no system in place. They just dump it like on roadsides or in jungle somewhere, right? And that's what I've seen so many times.
Yeah, it's very common. I mean, see, in towns where the regulations are not there, it'll be dumped here and there anywhere. In the towns where certain regulations are there, the municipal authorities have designated an area wherein you can actually go and dump it. But again, until unless this is utilized, it's not, going to be fruitful because the kind of population that is, incoming to bigger cities, it's massive. So अभी पहले आप 50-60 किलोमीटर बाहर जाके यूज टू डंप इट, नाउ दैट इज
Yeah,
बिकमिंग अ स्मॉल टाउन. तो अब आप क्या
hmm.
करोगे वहां पे? तो अब बिल्डिंग्स बनने हैं वहां पे, तो अब हाउसेज एंड फैक्ट्रीज हैव टू बी सेट अप. So
Yeah.
it can be done, processed well.
There's so much, so much room for improvement because, see, I've lived in the US for so long, almost now, probably 15 years now, right? And also moved back to India, lived in between for five,
Mhm.
6 years in India while building our company. One thing I used to always observe is when they build roads in India, they just build on top of what was already there. Like, so the roads keep going up. Whereas in the US, I've always seen they actually scrape off the old road, pura,
Yeah.
remove it, and actually they'll take that material and probably do something with it. So I was always wondering, I'm like, India mein, why are we not doing that? Right.
See, it is just, I mean, if you look into that public road wale aspect में ना, तो it's more about the intent, right? uh, एक I'll give you example. हम ना एक project कर रहे थे बैंगलोर में. It was a public road. Through CSR we were doing that. So one of the residents actually called me. I don't know how they got my number. Probably from the internet. My number has always been there. So he calls me and he says that, आपको मैं एक फैक्ट बताता हूँ. वी आई बीन लिविंग ओवर हियर फॉर द लास्ट ऑलमोस्ट 30 years. लास्ट 10-15 years से every time it rains, the water comes directly to my house. एंड द रीजन इज बिकॉज पहले जो रोड्स थे दैट हमने भी जब अपना घर बनाया था, तो आवर घर वाज हाउस वाज एट अ हायर लेवल एंड द रोड वाज एट द लोअर लेवल. सो व्हेन इट रेन्स द वाटर गोज टू द ड्रेन. नाउ द रोड इज हियर, माय हाउस इज हियर, सो द वाटर विल कम टू माय हाउस ओनली, right? And while we were doing the construction, we also, I mean, see, the right way of doing any construction is to know what is beneath. तो हमने एक टेस्ट किया था, तो we realized कि it had n number of layers of asphalt on top of that. तो obviously उसमें फिर सबसे ज्यादा harm जो होता है, people who are living over there, some of them have shops, houses, so they suffer a lot. So I mean, this is something that I don't know, man. This is just
I
lack
mean,
of
it's a big problem
efficiency.
to be solved. I mean, I think you are attacking a problem which needs to be solved, right? But solving that in India as a country can be a big challenge, just given the bureaucracy and mindsets of a lot of people, right? I think so. Great initiative. I think you've been doing that even in Potholeraja. I remember I always used to think that's a very noble cause, because in India potholes are taken for granted by people ki to raste mein to khadde hone hi hai. And you know just focusing on that as a problem also was something which, so I've seen you focusing on problems which affect common people day to day, right?
Yeah, I
So I
mean,
think, how did that start actually? I mean, do you had a moment where tell me a little bit before this, right? I mean, your education, why did you start picking problems which are in this space, right?
so I think, Rohin, yeah, this started when I was doing my engineering. So I studied from SIT Tumkur, which is very close to Bangalore. Tumkur is a town around 50-60 kilometers from Bangalore towards the Pune side. So when I got into that college, I remember first year में ही ना, my fourth year seniors had hosted a session. तो उन्होंने बताया था कि अब हम एक मॉक बताएंगे कि प्लेसमेंट्स में क्या होता है, राइट? और वो प्लेसमेंट का एक उन्होंने सिनेरियो क्रिएट किया था, एंड दे वर ट्राइंग टू हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज व्हाट यू विल इवेंचुअली बी डूइंग व्हेन यू आर इन द फोर्थ ईयर, अर्ली फोर्थ थर्ड ईयर एंड ऑफ फोर्थ ईयर के टाइम में। तो उस समय देयर वाज अ ग्रुप डिस्कशन दैट वाज हैपनिंग, दैट दे हैड एक मॉक था। तो वहाँ पे उन्होंने पूछा था मेरे से कि आई मीन सबसे पूछा था कि व्हाट इज दैट वन थिंग दैट प्रॉब्लम और एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एरिया दैट यू रियली वांट टू सॉल्व। और एंड दिस इज आई थिंक 2010 की बात है, फर्स्ट ईयर व्हेन आई वाज इन कॉलेज।
Mhm.
सो एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम व्हाट आई हैड सेड इज कि यार आज के डेट में ना आपको सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है फॉर एनीबडी टू सर्वाइव? रोटी कपड़ा मकान, राइट? तो यू आर गेटिंग प्रॉब्ली, आपको कपड़े तो मिल ही जा रहे हैं, है ना, घर है ही आपके पास। एंड फॉर अस बिकॉज कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स, तो हमें ना निकल के, एंड आवर हॉस्टल यूज टू बी क्वाइट इनसाइड द इंस्टीट्यूट, एंड टू गो टू द नियरेस्ट रेस्टोरेंट इट यूज टू टेक अराउंड 30-40 मिनट्स एंड देन कम बैक। तो बड़ा टाइम टेकिंग एक्टिविटी होता था, और वहां पे जाके बैठो एंड देन ऑर्डर। आई सेड व्हाट इफ द फूड कम्स टू मी, राइट? दैट आई कॉल, क्योंकि व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू दैट टाइम वाज I used to just ring up the hotel guy saying that we are four of us coming in, ABC, 20 minutes it will
Mhm.
take. So the moment we sit on the table, हमारा खाना लग जाना चाहिए. So they knew that we are regular customer, तो हो जाता था. And I was like, what if this same thing happens and the food comes
Mhm.
to us in the hostel? That's it, that this will be amazing. अगर वहां से वो लोग ना खाना मैं ऑर्डर करूं और खाना मेरे पास भेज दें, हमारे पास भेज दें, it will be such a big disruption. मेरे को नहीं पता था कि now the world is moving in that direction. So I think first मेरे को जब याद आता है ना, तो first probably the entrepreneurship thing that came to my mind was this incident that I remember. Fast forward, when I was got into a job, then I joined HP as a software developer in Bangalore. और वहाँ पे
So
while I
your
was
education is in computer science, or what was your
nah, I did my electrical and electronics engineering.
electrical? Okay, and then get into software. Okay,
Yeah.
pretty standard.
And I have always been in the software side only. 11, 12 maybe computer science was my optional. So I wanted to be in that direction. I don't know why I chose triple E. Probably that I couldn't crack. I still remember I couldn't crack IIT and triple E. So I said now I'll study the toughest branch and I'll crack that. Bad bad decision. वो नहीं होना चाहिए था. But again, another thing that happens with us is we when we give our entrances exams, तो हमें ये थोड़ी पता होता है कि हमें पढ़ना क्या है. हमारे रैंक के हिसाब से we choose the branch, करेक्ट?
Yeah,
तो
yeah.
कंप्यूटर साइंस इज द हाईली ल्यूक्रेटिव, उसके बाद आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कम्युनिकेशन चूज करते हो. और पीपल हु डू नॉट हैव दैट बैकग्राउंड, देन वी हैव बीन सोल्ड एवरग्रीन ब्रांचेस विच इज मैकेनिकल, सिविल एंड इलेक्ट्रिकल. तो आप उसमें
Mhm.
चले जाओ. दो जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज आर, आई मीन वी नो द स्टेटस ऑफ
But
दैट
now you're doing
सेक्टर.
civil, so I'm trying to connect that dot. So I'm still. So you went to HP, so I'm trying to see how did you get into roads? So I was like, expecting
दैट
your
इज
background to be
प्योर
like civil
पैशन.
engineering.
तो उसमें हुआ क्या ना कि व्हेन आई वाज हियर, तो अब सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा था. लाइक ठीक है यार, सॉफ्टवेयर में आ गए, एंड देन इन सॉफ्टवेयर आई मीन टिपिकल मिडिल क्लास फैमिली, और आई मीन एनीवेयर, नॉट जस्ट अबाउट मिडिल क्लास फैमिली, बट यू गेट इनटू सॉफ्टवेयर, यू डू कपल ऑफ स्विच, और फिर आप अगर आपको ऑन साइट लग गया, यू आर इन द यूएस एंड द लाइफ चेंजेस, ऑल दोस थिंग्स. आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू दैट फेज कि हाँ चलो, दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक प्रॉब्ली आई विल आल्सो डू. मेरे को नहीं पता था कि मेरा उस फील्ड से इंटरेस्ट विल गो ऑफ, एंड द एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप थिंग कंटिन्यूड. आई लाइक यार, आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन अ गाय जो ऑर्गेनाइज करता था. व्हेन आई वाज इन लाइक कॉलेज अगेन, फर्स्ट ईयर, आई टुक माय एंटायर बैच टू ऊटी ट्रिप में. सबके पेरेंट्स से बात करके परमिशन ले. आई डोंट नो व्हाट कॉन्फिडेंस आई हैड, लाइक द फीमेल फ्रेंड्स दैट वी आल्सो हैड, उनके पेरेंट्स से भी फोन करके बात करके, अंकल आंटी आप टेंशन मत लो, हम है ना, देख लेंगे वाले. ये एक अलग ही कॉन्फिडेंस था. तो पूरा ट्रांसपोर्ट अरेंज करना. इवन नाउ आई हैव द कांटेक्ट ऑफ दैट ट्रांसपोर्टर. Whenever I go to Tumkur, I call him कि भैया क्या हाल चाल. बोला, "अरे,
Yeah, I'll come to that topic also about that Bharat Mala thing, but I have noted it down.
yeah,
I saw seen you do that, organize things. So you were with HP, right? You said how many
yeah."
years did you work at HP?
HP was 3 years. So 2014 August I joined, and 17 September I left.
Okay, and then you started your own thing. I mean, or you do another job after that?
नहीं नहीं, तो उस समय हुआ क्या ना रोहिन कि सो आफ्टर सेकेंड ईयर आई was off. I mean, I was like, I don't think so that IT is something that I want to really pursue my career and I really want to go into management side. But how and किस तरह से जाना है was not very clear. But one thing was very clear that I now want to explore education outside the country, that what exactly the world is doing. I mean, yes, we have good institutes over here, but I really want to get that exposure. तो तभी मैंने फिर GMAT के लिए register किया कि I want to give that exam and probably find a college abroad. I mean, my first option was in the US, that can I get into the likes of Harvard, Stanford, Wharton kind
Okay.
of
Okay.
colleges. तो वहां
That's
से
in
start हुआ. तो
2017.
it actually started in 2016 itself,
Okay.
when
16.
I started preparation for the GMAT. तो जब मैं प्रिपरेशन कर रहा था ना, तो दिस इज वेयर सर्टेन सेशंस दे सेड कि देखो आपको ना वहाँ पे जाके फिर एक ऐसे भी लिखना होता है, right? And that plays a very important role, and that essay is not something that should be taken lightly, because the person who is going to interview you has been scrutinizing students since ages, so he or she will understand that whether it's a reality or not. I understand that a lot of people fake it as well. Like, लोग क्या करते हैं कि they will just go to an NGO, volunteer, take the certificate, एक अच्छा सा story बना दिया, डाल दिया. एंड आई वाज लाइक, इफ आई स्टिल, एक तो मैंने इंजीनियरिंग कर ली है, मुझे नहीं पता था कि whether I wanted to study electrical electronics or not. It's not that BTech as a degree is not right, but that 4 year, even now, if I go back and see, do I really know a lot of stuff about electrical electronics? I don't. And that's the reality. Yes, it has evolved me as an individual, but like the core subject which I studied, probably not. So this is where I said, नहीं नहीं यार, ये नहीं करना है, गलत काम नहीं करना है, because it is not for any other purpose, it is for me. If I still go out and say things which are not about me, then nobody else is going to suffer but me, right? चलो आज मैंने एक फेक स्टोरी बना के आई गेट इनटू अ गुड कॉलेज, but where is my identity getting shaped up? Again, I'm probably betting on that institute or the kind of surrounding that I will have to refine my personality, which is, I don't think so that that should be the option. So this is where I said here I will do that, but let me find out what resonates. And एक एक incident था wherein in Bangalore there was a couple who fell because of a pothole accident, and his wife unfortunately died. And I don't know, but it just triggered me saying that, yeah, this is not right.
Hmm.
कि आप बता रहे हो कि pothole के कारण एक्सीडेंट हुआ, and then you're blaming the husband for doing rash driving.
I don't think this is uncommon. I mean, I have seen somebody fall
uh,
off the bike, like a lady sitting behind, because in India they sit with their legs on
hmm.
one side. It's very unstable,
Yeah.
and if you're going fast enough, you can be easily thrown away. So it's a big problem, definitely.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even now, it's not that it is. आप कहीं भी देख लो यार, this is very common. But that incident was something that was my probably a trigger in my life. So I said, चलो ठीक है, let me start with being the a good citizen, कि मैं गवर्नमेंट को ये बताता हूँ कि प्रॉब्लम्स कहाँ पर है, एटलीस्ट इन माई विसिनिटी, राइट? So it started from there, and I realized that that's not working out. Then I said, let me find a solution to that. I'm not a civil engineer, so I called up my civil engineer, chemical engineer friends to tell me a magical solution to 10 minutes mein, or maybe I just pour it and it becomes hard. तो and उस समय चल रहा था कि I'll be like Robin Hood. रात में आया एक मसीहा, काम करके निकल गया, and like ठीक है, I mean, small impact, but if I know that it can save many lives on a daily basis, why
Yeah.
not? So that time my focus was that this actually can be a very good. I mean, I don't know how exactly would I like that as a person, but somewhere it was there that yes, I feel that this will be a very impactful work. And when I write my essay, I'll be honest with myself.
Okay. So you are still
And
preparing for your GMAT,
yeah, yeah,
so
I
you're
was
doing
still
that.
preparing there. It's just 2016 starting. I was going to my GMAT coaching and trying to figure out ki what interests me. So I was like, I'll not go to an NGO and teach somebody and get a certificate and do that. It's not that that's not important, but that is not my first liking. कि मैं जाके बस इसलिए volunteer कर लूँ, because it is not coming from my heart, right? So I'll do something which I'm connecting, like heart to heart एक connection है, हाँ ये problem मेरे को solve करना है, and I would want to do something on that. So this happened, and in January 2017, I read an article about Potholeraja. कि हाँ, somebody is doing that. I was like, ठीक है यार, somebody is doing that. Let me go and volunteer. So that's how it started. And when I volunteered, I had that goosebump moment first time in my life. I mean, tell me, Rohin, if somebody, a stranger, has just come to you and said thank you for doing something, how often does that happen? Like rarely in our life.
Yeah, I mean, we get so busy with our lives that we don't go out of our way to do something, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
normal human tendency. So I can see, like, if you do something and it affects somebody's life, it's really gratifying. I can
it is. It
really
is.
have
So
that feeling.
तो उस दिन का ना मेरे को इंसिडेंट अभी भी याद है कि इट वाज द सेंट जॉन्स हॉस्पिटल का जंक्शन एंड वहां पे ना हर दिन सुबह सुबह एक्सीडेंट होता था बिकॉज ऑफ वेरी बैड क्वालिटी रोड सो अ स्ट्रेंजर केम इन एंड बिकॉज दे रियलाइज दैट वी आर वॉलंटियर्स तो
Hmm.
came in and said thank you so much for doing this. I walk on this road, I drive on this road. BMTC bus driver uh, came and stopped by, said thank you, lovely work, this that. Cab driver stopped by. I was like, यार, this is, I mean, this has never happened to me. That एक stranger आके बोल रहा है कि thank you so much for doing that. That incident changed completely. Some shift happened that day in my life. So उसके बाद I used to do volunteering, and then 6 7 months down the line, I dropped the plan of GMAT as well. I said, "Okay, I think this is more important a problem to solve, and this is not just a Bangalore specific problem, but this is a problem that is with every city. It's why only Bangalore.
Yeah,
तो
across
अगर मैं
India.
सिर्फ volunteer करूँ तो it'll be just one or two maybe events, but if I have to really make it big, then I have to jump into it full time. So that's where I decided to leave my job and jump into this unknown territory of social entrepreneurship.
So you joined Potholeraja as an employee first or a co-founder?
I mean, it was only two of us. So my earlier partner, who was running that, he was just running that single-handedly, right? And I think initially it was also more of just a small little here and there, a couple of activities that we were doing,
Hmm.
volunteer activities. And this is where I called him saying that I want to, probably join you full time. I don't know how, but this problem resonates a lot. And until then, we had done a lot of work together. So he also said, I mean, if you want to join, then we can build this company together. So, and
Hmm.
in fact, he only told me that don't come as a employee mindset. Come as a entrepreneur mindset. That if let's say we earn money, then we take money home. If we don't, then it's how
Hmm.
it's gonna be.
When it
And I was
started off
ready
as
for
a
it.
non-profit, right? And then
So from the beginning, Rohin, this is where the biggest misconception is there in this industry that if let's say you are running an impact led or a something which is solving a problem, civic problem, you can very well run a for profit impact company as well. So we had two legal entities. We had a non-profit and we also had a for profit company as well.
Mhm.
So for profit used to take care of private roads because roads to har jagah hai. One is public road, another is private. Let's say the toll roads, the road which are in the industrial area, the roads which are inside a residential area. So everyone needs good quality road. Somewhere people want the roads not to break, right? So the private roads used to be completely a private contract for profit, and when we used to do on public road volunteer activities and road transformation, that used to be a CSR activity run through our non-profit.
Got it, got it. So
Yeah,
I see. So I think uh, I think one of the biggest moments probably which I remember is seeing you on Shark Tank. I saw you
yeah.
at Brigade Reap when we were together at the in the accelerator program. So how was your experience at Shark Tank and what led you to Shark Tank?
I think Shark Tank as a platform. I When it launched in India, I people have different opinions. In fact, couple of days back, also I was sitting with my uh, lot of entrepreneurs. We won a cricket competition, so we were celebrating, and somebody came and asked me that how genuine is Shark Tank? I mean, isn't it just a TV reality show? किसी को funding नहीं मिलती है and all those things. And I I beg to differ from that. It's not, that yes, TV में जो दिखाया जाता है, it has to be something that common person can also understand. So they make it in a way. It's a good editing. But what Shark Tank India has does is done that. I mean, Shark Tank India has done is because it's a TV show. So घर घर में ना people are talking about entrepreneurship. I mean, you
Absolutely.
can also relate to it that
Yeah.
when we started, kitna, it was used to be a massive challenge to just convince our parents that why are we leaving our job and doing something which is कि भाई अपनी जिंदगी को आप कहाँ लेके जा रहे हो? Why, where is this going to lead to? You don't have a stable income. How will you sustain your life when you get married? What will happen? How will you raise your kids? How will you take care of us? So your basic, ultimately the point is basic necessities are not met in typical, when you start the company, and specifically when you're not coming from a business background, right? So
Yeah.
that is something that has really done. And eventually then Shark Tank also, somebody from their team approached saying that why don't you explore our platform, you should also apply for Shark Tank. Initially I was hesitant. I was like, yeah, it's more of a D2C kind of brands which go
Yeah.
over there. तो मेरे अंदर भी थोड़ा हेजिटेशन था स्टार्टिंग में, बट व्हेन आई सेड व्हाई नॉट, आई मीन दिस इज अ ग्रेट ग्रेट प्लेटफॉर्म टू also showcase that what we are doing. And if some there are varieties, I mean, they also, I was not very confident if somebody would want to invest, but I said why not? I mean, हो सकता है कि उन्हें पता ही नहीं है. I mean, let them understand what kind of business we are, and probably they would be interested. And अगर कुछ नहीं भी हुआ तो just being on that platform creates so much of buzz that probably the right set of people would come and talk to you. So this is how that Shark Tank thing happened, and they are very professional. I mean, they helped us create that. तो वो पहला जो 1.5 minute का जो हम सुनते हैं ना कि it's a very dramatic kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
that
pitch.
the Shark Tank team helps us prepare that based on our offering. तो हमें पहले अपना pitch बताना पड़ता है कि this is what, I mean, you only imagine रोहन कि हम जब आप you go to the investor meet and client meeting, if we take just that presentation to TV, कितने लोगों को समझ, I mean, another thing is that वहाँ पे जो भी होता है ना, it's all live. तो there are no like cuts and takes, retakes, कुछ भी नहीं होता है. Everything is live recording. जितने देर किसी का भी इंटरव्यू चल रहा है, that just goes on, and after that it's up to their डिसीजन किया उसमें से कौन कौन सी चीजें को वो एडिट करके वो दिखाना चाहते हैं, नहीं दिखाना चाहते हैं. ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर देयर. एंड दैट, आई थिंक, एज अ प्लेटफॉर्म, yes, yes, we also had little bit of a slight ugly moment over there as well, that आप सुनना नहीं चाहते हैं कि what we are building just by the initial pitch. I know that the valuation that we had said was not really like matching what we were doing, but it was also based on the kind of projects that we were doing. So it should have been lesser. I also agree, but मतलब this is not something जहाँ पर आप सुनना ही नहीं चाहेंगे ना. At least you should be interested in hearing, listening ki what exactly is that we are making, and then
I
take a
mean, did
call. I
you
mean,
learn something from that experience? Because see, they were purely looking at it from business perspective, which I saw,
yeah, yeah.
right? Ki what is your revenue and what is the valuation you're asking.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, you are doing also something which is noble and something which is needed, really
Hmm.
needed. You know, so that balance was hard, right? Like if you put just business hat, then you might say that why are they not valuing the value actually we are bringing to
Hmm.
humanity or people, right? uh,
So, I mean, understanding with Rohin, it's very important कि आपको ना ये भी समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. For me also, it was very important to understand कि it's not only about money. You have to work with the right set of people. Like while we were going through the Reap Accelerator, we were always told ना कि इन्वेस्टर अगर आपको वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं कर रहा है तो दे आर नॉट द राइट इन्वेस्टर फॉर यू. इट इज नॉट जस्ट द मनी. पैसे तो आप बैंक से भी लोन ले सकते हो, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा मे बी, बट आपको बैंक तो लोन दे ही देगा इफ यू हैव गुड नंबर्स एंड डूइंग दैट, or maybe other lenders also. Like if only money is something that you need, but here when we raise investment, it is money plus the guidance. So we also have to evaluate that whoever is putting money are the right set of people for us or not. So I mean, of course they also ask some very good questions. मेरे लिए भी बहुत important था. कि it has to have the clarity. Like one of the most talked about was the valuation, right? And I also understand that yes, it is important. If let's say I'm going and pitching to an investor, for me as an entrepreneur, as a founder, I have to keep all the records, right? that कि हमारा valuation सही है या नहीं है, जो भी assumption है उसके बाद discussion तो होगा. If let's say somebody values you at a higher number, then it's a different thing. लेकिन uh, I think the questions that they asked, a lot of things did not come on the TV, but हमारे discussion में जब हो रहा था तो बहुत सारी ऐसी ऐसी चीजें थी जहाँ पर it really shook me as well. I mean, shook me as in it was a wake up call कि हाँ आपको ना थोड़े numbers में deep dive करने बहुत जरूरी है. You have to have a very clear strategy. And I always
Yeah,
believe, I mean, वहाँ पे तो हमने एक नया product लेके गया था ना हमने, तो that recycle plastic से road बनाने का, तो it was a clear business metric over there. तो um, they ask the right question because they have been investing in so many companies, right? So they know the metrics, and
yeah,
they are
absolutely, absolutely.
कुछ चीजों में understanding was lesser. I also agree, but again it happens because they were the not the right set of people who would invest in a prop tech company. You would understand, right? We come from the prop tech background, तो हमारे लिए जैसे एक चीज है जहां पर हमसे पूछा गया था ना कि आप अगर आपकी वैल्यूएशन लेट्स से 200 सीआर है तो आपके पास कम से कम 50 सीआर का पीओ पड़ा होना चाहिए. वैलिड क्वेश्चन. बट मेरे पिच में ये था यार कि हम ना जो आपसे फंडिंग मांग रहे हैं, दिस फंडिंग इज नीडेड फॉर अस टू गेट दैट वैलिडेशन एंड सर्टिफिकेशन. जब वो हमारे पास आ जाएगा तो वी विल हैव द 40 और 50 सीआर का पीओ.
Yeah.
तो एक रियल स्टेट का बंदा मेरे सर्टिफिकेशन के आने तक का जस्ट आई मीन अंडरस्टैंड दैट आई एम अ रियल स्टेट गाय एंड आई सेड दैट सौरभ आई वांट टू वर्क विथ यू. ठीक है, आपका प्रोडक्ट मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, आई विल वर्क विथ यू. You get me the certification and I'll issue you the PO. And he's given me all. We have done all the discussion of सब कुछ हो चुका है. I understand until unless it is written it is not confirmed. But this is how what startup is about, right? तो वो मेरे सर्टिफिकेशन का वेट नहीं करेगा ना कि जब तक सौरभ के पास सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं आएगा तब तक मैं रोड नहीं बनाऊंगा. क्या मेरे प्रोडक्ट तो मुझे डिलीवर करना है ना. आई कांट वेट. So that time, so that funding was only required for getting that certification,
Mhm.
which would have taken around 1.5 to 2 years.
Yep.
तो उस समय का जो क्वेश्चन था कि आपके पास पीओ नहीं है तो आपने अपनी कंपनी को ऐसे वैल्यू क्यों किया है. बट I was also seeing the market that yes, market में there is a need, the kind of numbers that we can achieve, that we're parallelly moving on. So I understand. I think from an investor point of view, it's very important that you have, let's say, confirm orders. इसीलिए this learning I have taken in my new company कि फंडिंग जाने से पहले कंफर्म ऑर्डर्स लेके आओ. ठीक है, अगर आपके पास ऑर्डर्स होंगे तो आपको बैंक भी फंड दे सकता है. इन्वेस्टर्स विल बी हैप्पी क्योंकि उनको दिख रहा है ना कि एक इट्स अ विन विन सिचुएशन फॉर बोथ द पार्टीज. सो आई टुक दैट एज अ
Have you
लर्निंग एज वेल.
raised capital in the previous company, or are you raising capital in this company right now?
सो पिछले वाले में रेज नहीं किया था एंड आई डोंट नो इफ आई शुड बी सेइंग दिस हियर और नॉट, बट लेट्स गो अहेड. आई मीन दिस वाज वन ऑफ द you know disagreements within uh, you know the company
Mm-hmm.
because हमारी ना जर्नी बहुत स्लो जा रही थी and I needed capital, external capital to move the vehicle little faster.
Mm-hmm.
क्योंकि उस समय क्या हो रहा था कि the money that I was earning I was putting back in the company and doing R&D and doing pilots और उसके बाद फिर आगे तो उससे थोड़ी स्लो हो जाती है. जब आपको मालूम है कि
Yeah.
आपको आगे बढ़ना है तो you need that capital कि हाँ आप पूरा R&D में लगाओ, expedite that process and move ahead. So that was not happening and this slowed down the growth a lot. We could have
Mm-hmm.
moved at a very rapid pace, but वो हो नहीं रहा था. And this is where then I said कि it's
Yeah. Yeah.
important for me to move on in life.
Yeah. I mean, in this company, are you currently looking for funding, or you want to make, like, certain
नहीं नहीं,
progress
I'm
and
I'm
milestones?
looking for funding. So first year of operation, I wanted to get back on my feet. So I've done that. I have built a team. 6 7 employees are there right now.
Okay.
We are actually venturing into a very interesting product, precast roads. So that will be very few across the world are doing this. We've also introduced a new technology जहाँ पर हम concrete roads में से cement हटा दे रहे हैं.
Mm-hmm.
So cement is another very carbon emitting material. it's a very amazing innovation as well. But जहाँ जहाँ पे भी without structurally damage, uh, compromising on the quality, if we can do that. So we have partnered with another company, and what we are bringing is we are removing cement completely. So that
Yeah.
reduces the carbon footprint by almost 80%. And
So
when it is
what
pre-cast,
is putting the thing together?
तो
What
वहां पे we currently are using the steel plant का जो waste होता है slag GGBS. So
yeah.
we use GGBS and we have our binders. So we add those. So what happens is when that is mixed in a proportion, the right proportion, it replicates the property of cement. So using that, we can make anything. I mean, we can make any concrete product like pavers, then drains, anything is possible. So we are venturing into the precast road because this is where I realized that the construction speed in not just India but anywhere is slow because of lot of dependency on the manpower, right? And we
Hmm.
still have a lack of skilled workforce. I mean, it's not that products की कमी है यहाँ पे चाहे anywhere across the world. It is the execution which is lacking far behind. That is setting some countries at a different pedestal and where India or the other developing countries are. Right? Why is China able to build mega structures in record time, and why are we not able to build that? So one of the major differences is the execution capability, and this is where. So when I talk right now, I say that see this is going to be our hero product, but along with that, the hero is going to be the execution. If we don't master execution, then it's out of the picture. So
Yeah.
it has to go hand in hand. So उसके लिए fund लगेगा because we will have to have our own factory setup if you want to control the cost, if you want to have better margins, we want to deliver better, we want to control quality. It is again going to be a new thing for me as well. But अभी हम contract manufacturing से start करेंगे, and when we secure the
Yeah.
order book, then I'll be going for the fundraise with the right set of people who really resonate with this.
Absolutely. So switching gears, I know we also connected during this adventure which you did, which is Bharatmala.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about it. For people who don't know, Saurabh did a full circle of India on a electric bike, right? And you guys were a group. I know John was there, one of our common mentors,
Yeah.
and a few others. So how was that experience, and what made you guys, venture into that?
I think that is still one of the most memorable trips that I have ever done. And I don't know if something can match that. So it all started as an idea. I mean, मेरे को ना ये बहुत टाइम से करना था. I really wanted to do a road trip to educate people that see potholes are not something which is unfixable. It can be fixed and it can be fixed very fast, right? But how do you educate folks? I kept seeing that people go for long bike trips and all. लेकिन आप उनको बोल दो यार कि you be partner and uh, we let's say the route that you are taking, can we just fix that? Because it's not just you are taking it. Every other weekend bikers are going on that trip, and some here and there incidents are happening. So I really wanted to do that. And one day I was sitting in a reap office और जॉन गौतम बैठे हुए थे, और मैंने फिर सुना यार कि वो भी बात कर रहे हैं कि वी डूइंग ऑल इंडिया ट्रिप. आई लाइक ये क्या डिस्कशन क्या चल रहा है? So they said कि नहीं, we are planning for this. I said कि I have always wanted to do that, so I would want to be a part of this, and I know I also have a plan of what all to be done. I was like कि जहाँ जहाँ रुकना है वहाँ पर we will fix potholes. I am very clear
Yeah.
with that, and I'll show that this is something that is doable. So it's an awareness campaign as well, and for the business as well, it will help us open lot more avenues. But primary is that अगर कहीं पे भी road repair हो रहा है, fix हो रहा है, तो it is going to save lives, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is how it started. So I remember COVID का ना first wave just खत्म हुआ था. Second wave के time में there were a lot of uncertainties ना कि whether it is coming back, not coming back. तो हमने planning वगैरह करके रखा था, and we were not sure कि whether COVID will once again come back. तो प्लानिंग वगैरह सब कुछ सब हो चुका था. वी थॉट दैट हमें हमें शायद फंडिंग वगैरह मिल जाए, फंडिंग एज इन द स्पॉन्सरशिप हमें मिल जाए.
Yeah. Sponsorship.
तो तो वो भी उस समय इट वाज अ चैलेंज, बट वी डिसाइडेड यार कि नहीं देखो निकलते हैं. ठीक है कि अगेन कर्टसी वर्किंग विथ जॉन गौतम मेंटोर्स, तो स्टार्टअप को तो यही था, देखो रिस्क लेके पहले निकल लेते हैं, उसके बाद इवेंचुअली विल कीप फिगरिंग आउट हाउ टू डू दैट, बिकॉज वी कांट परफेक्ट अ प्लान ऑन डे जीरो एंड देन गो फॉर इट, जस्ट लाइक हाउ वी बिल्ड आवर स्टार्टअप्स, रोहिन, कि हम तो अपने पिच डेक में बहुत लंबी लंबी चौड़े बातें लिख देते हैं, बट व्हेन वी गो टू एग्जीक्यूशन रियलाइज करे ये तो मिस हो गया, ये तो हमने एंटिसिपेट ही नहीं किया था. So it was very similar. It was just like an entrepreneurial journey. The entire 54 days that we were there. Like I'll tell you, जैसे हमने यहाँ से हम पहले गए मैंगलोर, तो मैंगलोर में वी हैड अ गुड होस्ट ओवर देयर, तो हमारा स्टार्ट बड़ा अच्छा हुआ था कि देयर वाज अ कॉलेज, वी वेंट ओवर देयर, स्पोक टू द college
Yeah.
students, talked about entrepreneurship. Then we were hosted at Avatar Hotels. Prashant, a very good friend now, he's become. तो ही हैड होस्टेड अस इन मैंगलोर कि हाँ आप आइए हमारे होटल में रुकिए, वी विल, लाइक चलो अगर ऐसे ही चलता रहा तो इट विल बी अ वेरी फन जर्नी. वहां से हम जा रहे हैं कन्याकुमारी की तरफ. कॉप्स आर स्टॉपिंग सेइंग दैट यू कांट, व्हाई, हाउ इज दैट यू आर ट्रैवलिंग लाइक दिस, you can't take this truck, you can't go on bikes, then show us the permit, all this blah blah thing. So धीरे धीरे करके वहाँ, अब जब तक हम लोग वहां पहुंचे थे ना, तब तक यहाँ पर मैंगलोर में एक प्रेस रिलीज हो चुका था कि देर आर ग्रुप ऑफ बाइकर्स एंड
Hmm.
स्टार्टअप गाइस जो पूरे इंडिया की ट्रिप में निकल रहे हैं. दिस इज व्हाट दे आर डूइंग, टॉकिंग अबाउट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, फिक्सिंग पॉट होल्स एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. So that newspaper article helped us navigate. So then the Kerala police supported a lot. They just called saying that these are the bunch of team who is going, nobody should stop them anywhere in the state. So we had a very good pass. तो वहां से फिर हम आगे बढ़े, कन्याकुमारी गए. तो यहाँ पर हम ऑलमोस्ट 4 स्टार होटल में रुके हुए थे. द मोमेंट वी वेंट टू अदर सिटी, देयर वाज नो फैसिलिटी एट ऑल.
Hmm.
तो
I
तो
know you guys
एंड
were reaching out to everybody. Even in Goa, you
या
reached out to me. So I know
और
how
नॉट
difficult
जस्ट
it is.
दैट, रोहिन, आई मीन वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट थिंग दैट हैपेंड ना, हम यहाँ पे 4 स्टार्टअप थे, ठीक है. वी वर देयर, पोटलराजा, देन ऑरा एनर्जीज जिनकी बाइक थी, ईवी बाइक, जिसमें जॉन और गौतम, दे वर डूइंग द
Yeah, yeah.
ट्रिप जिसमें गिनीज बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड अटेम्प्टिंग टू ब्रेक दैट. देन देयर वाज अनदर कंपनी कॉल्ड स्पेयर इट. तो अब ट्रिप में चल रहे हैं तो देल बी रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस, तो दे हैड सेंट अ टेक्नीशियन अलोंग विद देम. तो एक टेक्नीशियन हमारे साथ फुल ट्रिप में था, राइट. देन देर वॉज अ कंपनी कॉल्ड चार्जर. चार्जर फॉर इंश्योरिंग दैट जब जिस भी सिटी में हम जा रहे हैं वहां पर चार्जिंग स्टेशन पहले से लगे रहे, ताकि जैसे बाइक वहां पहुंचे तो वो चार्ज हो जाए, चार्ज करने के लिए रख दें, नेक्स्ट डे वी कैन मूव फ्रॉम देयर. तो अब आप सोचो, 4 स्टार्टअप, चारों के अलग अलग ब्रेन, द अमाउंट ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट दैट हैपेंड इन दैट ट्रिप, इट इज इनसेन. यहाँ पे एक टीम नहीं संभलती और हम यहाँ पे 4 स्टार्टअप है, और ऑन एन एवरेज हर स्टार्टअप के 2 फाउंडर तो हैं ही. ठीक है.
Hmm.
और ऊपर से हमारे 2 मेंटोर. तो यहाँ पे 10 लोग हैं, करना एक ही चीज चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन सबके ना पर्सपेक्टिव अलग अलग हो रही है, बिकॉज ऑफ द लॉजिस्टिक इश्यूज, कि कहीं जा रहे हैं तो चार्जिंग स्टेशन नहीं है, तो हम थके आ रहे हैं, हम सुबह 5 बजे निकल रहे थे, right? Morning 4, 5 o'clock we were leaving, and we were leaving at reaching some place at, let's say, 6, 7 o'clock at the night, and we are seeing that वहां पे कुछ भी अरेंजमेंट हुआ ही नहीं है. So then, like, one I remember, I think it was Ongol, or yeah, probably Ongol, if I remember that correctly, in
Where
Tamil
is
Nadu.
that?
तो वहां पे
Tamil Nadu.
कोई अरेंजमेंट नहीं था, तो वी हैड टू टेक द बैटरी एंड गो टू अनदर होटल, कि आप हमें अपना बस 3 फेज वाला प्लग पॉइंट दे दो, वहां पर हम रात भर ना अपनी बैटरी चार्ज करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि हमें सुबह निकलना है. हम जिस होटल में हमने बुक किया था, उस होटल का एसी का प्लग पॉइंट को हटा के वहां पे एक सबके रूम में बैटरीज चार्ज हो रहे हैं. तो 2 बजे,
I mean,
दो
doing
बजे
it on an
रात को
electric bike, that was the, I mean, challenge, right?
तो
Yeah.
पूरा सर्कस था. और उसके साथ में ये तो एक पार्ट है, आई ऑल्सो हैड टू इंश्योर दैट द प्लेस वेयर वी आर रीचिंग, आई हैड टू ऑल्सो फिक्स पॉट होल्स. तो स्टार्टिंग के 3, 4, 5 दिन में तो हमने कुछ किया ही नहीं, क्योंकि हम उसी को फिगर आउट करने में लगे हुए थे यार, कि ये कैसे करना है कि सुबह 5 बजे अगर निकलना है तो 5 बजे निकल के वहां पहुंच भी जाओ, चार्जिंग का सेटअप भी है, एंड देन आई हैव टू गो आउट एंड मीट पीपल कि दिस इज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग, एंड वी विल फिक्स सर्टेन पॉट होल्स इन योर सिटी. तो पहला 6 दिन तो मेरा ऐसे ही निकल गया. आई स्टार्टेड ओनली फ्रॉम, आई थिंक, चेन्नई. चेन्नई वाज द फर्स्ट सिटी wherein I actually went on and fixed potholes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean,
it
this
was
that I
crazy.
was really, really, really impressed with the for you execution. I mean, you finished the whole trip. It was I was following actually on social media because you guys were posting updates every day where you are, right? And you
Yeah.
were doing fixing potholes and going with electric bikes and charging them. I could really see the. I mean, it was
And
like
going to
really proving that
colleges,
you are
talking to students,
about sustainability and everything. I mean, it was really
entrepreneurship.
inspiring for me. Yeah, great. I think let's switch gears. One thing I really wanted to talk about is you mentioned empathy, right, as one of something which is very important to you. I am also a big believer in running the business with empathy, with honesty, and
Hmm.
doing the right thing. Correct. How did that why do you think it's important, and how did you learn that is very important for you when you're running a business?
See, it's a very simple thing. पता है मेरा रोहिन, when I had left my job ना, तो my only I had talked to me on when I was switching. कि when will I say that enough is enough and I'm not able to do this? So the day when I sleep, thinking my question, I mean questioning my intent here, why am I doing this? This is not moving in the right direction. Then that is the day when I will stop and I'll start rethinking about this decision or whether I want to switch or not. And second is key the entire purpose of starting this entrepreneurial journey, because I did not start with a very mainstream for-profit company. It was a impact-oriented organization. तो मेरा पहला तो वही था कि if it is not adding value to anybody's life, then it is not making sense. And eventually, when I went to do my MBA, which was in development management, so I still remember we had a social business class, and Professor Kaustav Majumdar, amazing guy. So वो आके बोलते हैं कि यार for any business, isn't it default that you have to be a social business? अगर आप अपने आसपास में लोगों की लाइफ इम्पैक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप एग्जिस्ट क्यों करते हो? So that has to be primary. Yes, you have to earn revenue, you have to make profit because the company will do more, but this has to be by default. It shouldn't be just a CSR activity, right? That also stayed with me कि हाँ, this is very important यार. Or it is not about answering anybody. For me, Rohin, honestly, it is not about answering anyone else. It is just about answering me, that if I am not doing right, जैसे one of the disagreements that I had in my earlier thing was कि I knew that the product had little bit of problem, right? तो मुझे पता था कि अगर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है तो एज अ स्टार्टअप फाउंडर आई हैव टू इंश्योर दैट आई परफेक्ट दैट, बिकॉज द एंटायर पर्पस ऑफ रनिंग माई फर्स्ट कंपनी वॉज सेविंग लाइव्स. And if my next product that I'm launching is not at par and I know that it might fail as well, तो कल को मेरे बनाए हुए रोड में अगर एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है तो my entire purpose is lost.
Mm-hmm.
Then why am I even doing that? Is revenue my motivator? No, it is building good quality roads is my motivator. That accident should not happen. And this is where I said, ki nahi yaar, I will not, this is unethical for me to go and sell this to anybody. Ki, if you have to be ready, because the client is trusting me कि हाँ यार आपने तो 7 साल से एक बहुत जबरदस्त कंपनी चलाई है ना. So I'm trusting with the next thing that you are coming up with, and I'm confident that you would have done all your R&D in that, all validation, certification, testing, anything that is required, and then only you're bringing this on to me. So for me, it's very important. यार, don't try to prove anybody right. Just try to prove yourself right. अगर आपको लगता है कि आप गलत काम कर रहे हो और सही है तो ये आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. Please live with that. But if you want really to make difference in somebody's life, because I somewhere believe, Rohan, I mean, I'm sure you would also agree with me that it'll come back if we start doing wrong.
Yeah.
It'll come back and bite us someday. We will not even realize that something bad has happened, but it will eventually lead us to that particular thing if we're not right from my heart, from our heart. और
Yeah,
दूसरी चीज
absolutely.
ये भी है कि अगर आप सही कर रहे हैं और आप यू आर वेरी ऑनेस्ट एंड जेन्युइन अबाउट इट, हो सकता है कि यू विल लूज some of the people who would not resonate with you being really honest, but there will be set of people who will resonate with your honesty, saying that हाँ आप मेरे सामने आके कम से कम सच बात तो बता रहे हो कि देखो this is what it is. I'm not offering you something which is extraordinary, बट अभी हम यहाँ पर हैं, आगे चल के वहां पहुंचेंगे तो आपको आगे बताते हैं क्या कर सकते हैं। आपको मैं चांद तारे अभी उनका सपना क्यों दिखा दूं जब मेरी कैपेबिलिटी खुद की नहीं है। आज जो मेरी कैपेबिलिटी उससे स्टार्ट करते हैं ना। तो व्हेन
No,
आई
I think
स्टार्टेड,
this is very important to have the right reason for doing something, because there have been so many examples of startups who have raised so much money, and the culture was has been so bad in India. There have been so many examples, right?
करेक्ट,
And startup itself name gets tainted because of companies like that, right? So when you're building a
ट्रू,
startup, it's and when you have VC money, you are under pressure to grow, and then you adopt certain practices which are growth oriented, right? Just to grow, you're doing the wrong things, like your product is not good, or you are using tactics to scare people or whatever, correct? So I think that's the main reason I brought this up, like
करेक्ट,
why, what was the, I mean, we also really focus on that, right? Although we are also backed by investors, there's a lot of pressure, but being transparent and really goes a long way. So I think that will really help you. Also, I wish you all the best for with your new startup, and I mean, if you run it with these principles, I'm pretty sure you'll. It may take a longer time, but I think the outcome would be great. I would like to ask you one final thing. A lot of founders would watch this. What would be your advice if you had to give to a new founder if they are starting a company, right? What should they focus on?
the एक चीज which is paramount in this, and I'm sure you would resonate with it, is that your risk taking appetite has to be way above than any of your peers. If that is not there, you're not willing to risk it all, then you'll not be able to build a startup. That is, I think, for me, more than your anybody's technical understanding or from where they have studied or all those things, blah blah things. Yes, these are important, but these are not the most important thing. The most important thing is whether you are willing to jump from that cliff or not.
I don't know if you this is actually this is not exactly the same thing. Jensen Huang, founder of Nvidia, he said this in an
Uh,
interview that if you were uh, 30 years old again and starting Nvidia again, what would you change? I mean, Nvidia today is worth like trillions of dollars, right? His answer was very surprising. He said, "I would not do it again because you need so much of sacrifice throughout the
yeah.
journey. I would never build another startup again." I mean, it was very surprising, right? So I think I resonate. Once you jump, you need to be prepared for so many things.
Yo,
I
it
think a
is.
lot of
It is.
founders don't see that as a reason. They jump into it because of they think it's going to be
Yeah.
a glory thing, right? But
No.
it's a painful journey, right? It's a very painful
It is
journey.
indeed. I mean, you would resonate with it, Rohit. I'm sure. You lose a lot of your friends, your relationship take a hit. Yes, there's this lot of understanding is also there. Yeah, who are the people who are really important in your life? But it is just immense amount of sacrifice. I mean, the sacrifice that I mean, we also as startup founders, how often do we even talk about that? What are our day-to-day struggle? Like it इस महीने
Maybe let's talk
एम्प्लॉय को
about that a
सैलरी देने
little
के लिए
bit.
पैसा
Let's talk about
हाँ?
that a little bit.
हाँ,
I'll also maybe share some things because I've been doing this for 5 years.
हाँ.
So maybe tell me like what sacrifices did you have to do? Maybe I mean you can not tell me any personal things, but whatever you can share.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I think these things should come out because this is the reality, right? I mean, where do you go? I mean, because anybody who is starting as of now, they should be aware that these are the things that are going to happen in your life, right? Like I still remember, I think 2018 was the time. I was like, yeah, who doesn't love us as a startup? I mean, people will be like, we want to work with you, this, that, blah, blah things. And I literally had to break जो 3 साल का मेरा सेविंग था पीएफ का, I mean not saving I would say, but I had whatever got accumulated in the PF. So I broke my PF. I mean, I think I would have asked at least ten friends that who I thought they're my friends, that यार मुझे 10,000 रुपए दे दो because I did not have money to pay my rent, right? I was literally living off my credit card. तो क्रेडिट कार्ड का बिल ऑलवेज यूज टू बी 1 लाख रुपीज प्लस एंड आई वाज जस्ट पेइंग द मिनिमम ड्यू और मे बी थोड़ा सा उससे ज्यादा. तो आई नो दैट आई हैव पेड मोर इंटरेस्ट. बट But that's what was life. I'll give you one incident. I wrote about this as well. So my college friends, earlier when their job started, nobody was in Bangalore. My immediate friends, and one was in Pune, another was in Bombay, and then they moved to Bangalore. So now they used to live around 15-20 kilometers from where I live in. People in Bangalore would, we recall they used to be in understand that they were in KR Puram. I used to be in HSR. सो वीकेंड में होता ही है ना कि चलो ठीक है यार, विल कैच अप एंड विल प्रिपेयर चिकन, विल हैव कपल ऑफ बियर्स दिस दैट, एंड चलो विल जस्ट पार्टी एट होम. तो मेरे पास ना शायद 5-10 रुपए भी अकाउंट में नहीं होता, लिटरली, लाइक इन माई बैंक 5-10 rupees also used to be not used to be there, that I can contribute like 200 rupees का. I mean it's a very common thing ना friends कि अगर 500 rupees का हम spend कर रहे हैं तो it's just split wise, divide by 3, right? So, and they knew
Yeah,
that I did not have that. So the only thing that I used to pay for was my bike ka petrol. That I used to just go over, hang out with them for 2 days, and that used to be refreshing. And when 2 years down the line, 2-3 years down the line, when things really changed for me, he got married, and he visited Bangalore, and we were at a brewery just having dinner. And when the bill came, I just took out my card and I paid without looking at the bill. It was not that I'm not conscious about what we had ordered, but it was that moment wherein I was really emotional that day यार कि from the point जहाँ पे मुझे 5 रुपए एक चाय के देने के लिए भी शायद नहीं थे अकाउंट में, to this place wherein I can pay the bill without even bothered about how much the bill is. Right. So this is a very intense journey, and
yeah,
constantly your parents will be questioning you, your friends. I don't know. You will realize that who are those good friends, because वो जो मैंने इंसिडेंट बताया ना कि I asked 10 of my friends to just lend me 10,000 rupees, and मैंने बड़ा स्मार्ट कैलकुलेशन किया था कि देखो 15,000 rupees इज माई रेंट, 5,000 रुपये मेरे रहने का हो जाता है. तो लेट्स से इफ आई आस्क 10 people 10,000 rupees, तो 10,000 rupees इज नॉट अ बिग अमाउंट ऑफ मनी फॉर पीपल. तो मेरे पास 1 लाख रुपए आ जाएंगे, एंड आई कैन 5 months के लिए सॉर्टेड. Only one guy whose salary was very less, he only helped me. Apart from that, nobody, just not even 10,000. I was like,
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
man, this is such a harsh realization. तेरे साथ उठता बैठता हूँ, bro. We play cricket together. We do so many things together. You can't give me 10,000 rupees.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
bad is that?
Yeah, I think yeah, it's some certain stories are even with me. Even a lot of stories, but it's a tough journey. But I think longer you can persist. So I think that's the main quality of successful founders. Right? They persist. They refuse to give up. Correct. So I think
Yeah, yeah, it's
good
rewarding.
things will happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no.
So I think we're coming. Go,
Uh, no, I
go
said
ahead. Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
it's never been a. I have never complained. I've always enjoyed this journey because this has taught me. But why I put this forward is these are the things that will happen eventually with you. You will be broke. You will be in negative bank balance. The people you would have thought that you trusted, they'll show their true colors, because ultimately, in your good times, you have 100 people. It's important to understand in your bad time who are standing with you. So a lot of reality checks are there. That acha, these are people who are standing with me during this time. So probably I also get to know who to trust, who not to trust, right? Or maybe how to reserve yourself. People who would want to back you like on the face versus what they're saying behind your back. So you get to, it's all reality check. Matlab, sab kuch, it becomes so transparent. I'm sure you would have gone through that yourself, that people are saying something on your
No,
face
no,
and
yeah.
then suddenly disappearing.
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of similar experiences, but I think luckily a lot of my friends, and we've been together. So a lot of my friends actually invested in our company early on when we
Hmm.
decided to start. So I think we've been really fortunate on that front. But I think it's been a great conversation. I think we can keep talking. I think we should do it again. Maybe we can do it again after a year when your company has made more progress. We can learn about what your journey has been. But even off the air, we should probably catch up again when I'm coming back to India First of all, so I'd like to really thank you, Saurabh, and wish you all the best with your new startup. I'm pretty sure you're going to do good, and I'll keep following you on social media. I love your small snippets which you post once in a while.
Thanks, Rohini. Lovely, lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's great to
Yeah,
catch up.
thanks, man. Yeah, and all the best, and have a great day ahead.